Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. I'm excited to get back into casting these sort of just daily videos here. As I know that I kind of had like a bit of a break doing with the WCS Global Finals going on. It's basically just like, well, that's the best of the best Starcraft 2 everyone's watching, so I'm not going to fret if I don't put out a video. However, now that there's a bit of a break in that, I'm going to be doing some more very high-level Starcraft 2 to sort of fill the time here. So we've got ourselves another match from the Elite League. It really is the best place to go for high-level Starcraft 2. So, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it's Shivo RagnaroK, RNK. And spawning in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's actually a player. The reason why I'm casting this match, it's this player right here. He's up and coming in the scene. He's showing a lot of promise, particularly in the Elite League. So he's a new StarCraft 2 player, or he's not new, but he's kind of a new face in a sense. He's up and coming in the StarCraft 2 scene, and his name is Zoun. Zoun is a Protoss player. He's been playing in like the Elite League, and apparently he's been showing a lot of promise in these tournaments. And after a while, you notice like a player has like a couple of nice results in a tournament, or even just beats say one good player. You're like, oh, I gotta see some of their games or whatever. See exactly what's going on, because in the Korean StarCraft 2 scene, there's not a lot of new faces because it's super tough to break on in. Now, Zoun, he is a guy who was around for quite a while in the past. He would play back in the days when there was like regular Pro League and everything. He was on SK Telecom, and then he joined Prime. So he definitely has had like a high enough skill level to be considered a pro gamer, but he never really had any significant results beyond being on a Pro League team in a sense. I mean, that really is just the honest truth, as he's never qualified for Code S or anything like that to my knowledge, and that kind of is the barrier to say that, oh, you are a high-level pro gamer. However, he's taken on Code S players right now. RagnaroK is a Code S player who's also showing a lot of promise himself lately, so it's kind of like a match of these two guys who are rising stars in a sense. Zoun definitely rising up, starting to make a bit of a name for himself. I honestly had never really heard of this guy. I maybe like checked out his Wikipedia page once or twice, but besides that, like hearing of this guy, I hadn't heard a lot about him. So it's exciting to see this Protoss player who's coming out to play regularly and now having some results in this online cup. Now, I mean, this is from the Elite League October finals, so we're going to see how well he does versus RagnaroK, who is just a very good Zerg player as well. We've got Pneumatized Carapace on the way here for RagnaroK, so making use of that upgrade, just wanting to see exactly what the Protoss is up to. If it's someone you don't necessarily play a lot, you might just be like, huh, who is this guy in a sense? And so you really want to scout out what he's doing, and what we're going to be seeing out of Zoun is a pretty classic StarCraft Protoss build here. He's going to be going for Resonating Glaive Adepts, and when I say classic, I mean it was really at its peak when Adepts were at their best, but players have figured out how to deal with them a bit. They, of course, were nerfed a little bit. However, I mean, Resonating Glaive Adepts still very, very powerful if done properly, or if your opponent doesn't react perfectly in a sense, or if your opponent doesn't react well enough. It's not like it's broken or anything. It actually is a bit of a tough build to make work at times. So we'll just see how well Zoun is going to execute this build going up against someone like RagnaroK. Of course, RagnaroK is kind of sniffing this out a bit. He's like, oh, you got a Twilight Council, you got a Robo on the way. That usually spells out for some sort of timing attack. And RagnaroK is just being very, very continuous with his scouting right now. He's being denied by these Stalkers. He's making a ton of Lings for now. Now, the fact that he's seen a couple of Stalkers here, he might be like, oh, what's coming my way? He's making Lings for now. However, Lings are not good at all versus Resonating Glaive Adepts. They're, in fact, one of the worst things that you can possibly make, unless you get a very good surround as the Zerg. But generally, Adepts do pretty well versus Adepts do pretty well versus Lynx, so we're probably going to see RagnaroK, or Zoun, pardon me, warping just some more Adepts. I mean, for now, he's just got 4 gateways, so it's not like this is a full all-in. Warping in 4 more Adepts, so 4 plus 4 equals 8, if you're with me. for that map there. And now let's take a look. These Adepts are skirmishing versus these Lings. Now, RagnaroK did get a pretty good surround against those, but they are going to shade on into the natural of the Zerg here. They're going to get 4 drones so far. Now, keep in mind, this was a fair bit of a commitment from the Protoss, but not an absolutely, like, massive one or anything like that. But, oh, Zoun, even canceling his 1 warp in there, decides to warp in 4 Adepts back at home instead of going offensively, because right now we see RagnaroK is starting to spill across the map here. He's got a ton of Lings. I mean, this build for Zoun was a little bit odd. The fact that he'd go for something like this, now he's going to have to tuck himself in near the shield battery. The shield battery is really going to help these Adepts out versus the Lings. RagnaroK is committing on in here, but with an Immortal coming to help out with the Prism, I think Zoun is going to be fine versus this. And we take a look here. Oh, okay, let's see. We take a look here, pardon me. And we've got the Zerg player who's committed to actually just so many Lings here. RagnaroK's going to be going for an attack right now. He's actually going to try and kill Zoun. And sometimes you can just counterattack and kill your opponent. So we'll see if this is going to work on out here for RagnaroK. He's going to be trying to break up this ramp right now. There's a sentry. There's a lot of Adepts. And I mean, Adepts are pretty amazing versus Lings. Good juggling so far from Zoun, keeping his units alive. Another Immortal comes down with some Adepts to buffer for it. The Prism should absolutely keep that Immortal. Even picks up the Adepts there. And looks like a good hold here from Zoun. And when everything's kind of tallied up in a sense, we see the Protoss got himself a pretty solid army here right now. His Immortals are going to be taking on these Ravagers and Lings. And yes, I am aware that there is indeed... it's one of these. I realize I accidentally disabled the army supply. There we are. There we go. It is back. And now, yeah, I mean, this is looking like an okay counterattack for Zoun that's going to be coming. Now, we do see RagnaroK has got something in the main base. Did he just drop some Lings in? Yeah, he must have just dropped some Lings into the Protoss' base. But we take a look here. Zoun's now got himself Blink. He's now got himself Resonating Glaive. So he may be able to just push into RagnaroK. I mean, RagnaroK has droned up a bit. He's at a pretty okay drone count, 58, but he definitely wasn't on that when he went for the attack, so his economy isn't great, and as a result, this may be a potential attack Zoun can make work. For now, though, Zoun is going to be backing off. He's got sentries, though, so he can always force field and cover his retreat there. Meanwhile, RagnaroK just trying to get up a 4th base, just trying to hold on versus what his opponent has. And we are seeing Zoun just warping more and more Stalkers. He's doing this off 8 gates right now, so 8 gates Stalker Adept push. Immortals are going to dodge the Corrosive Biles. The Sentries, though, not so lucky, but the Force Field's keeping out a lot of RagnaroK's army. I'm going to lose a Roach or 2 there, as Zoun is able to keep on pushing. And oh, Zoun even blinking forward. That was a bit of a bold blink. He's now going to have to get out of there. His Stalkers are very injured here. He's going to need to blink those again. He gets them away, but lost a few units there. That was a pretty aggressive blink from the Protoss. Meanwhile, a lot of Ravagers and Roaches here for the Zerg. Zoun down on supply. Is he just going to warp in more? For now, he's building some probes. Behind this, going to be saturating up his 3rd base. But I think the Zerg might be able to hold on here. I mean, so far, it really is just Blink Stalkers versus Roaches and Ravagers. And if you micro perfectly as the Protoss, you can take down the Protoss or Zergs like this, but it can be tough if the Zerg just continues producing units. RagnaroK, though, is squeezing out a few drones. He wants to get his worker count back up. Zoun, on the other hand, he's just coming across the map with one of his Immortals, a few sentries, and just gonna continuously poke with his Stalkers. We actually see the Protoss blinks on in here, supply blocks the Zerg with his Stalkers picking off an Overlord. Lings are going for a big old counterattack versus the Protoss, but Zoun has got a shield battery. He's got a couple of Adepts, so his 3rd is gonna be fine. How about his natural? He's got an Adept and a shield battery there, so that should be safe. So these Lings for RagnaroK out on the map, not getting a lot done here, and all of a sudden, we see the Protoss is going to be pushing on into the Zerg space, and the Zerg is out of position. Oh, there could be a force field or 2 here. That would be very nice for the Protoss. So far, nothing like that. The Stalkers are actually just going to blink forward. Zoun has been warping in non-stop Stalkers, and he's actually got himself a insane supply here. Lings are coming from behind for RagnaroK to help on out, but they weren't helping out with the initial fight. Corrosive Biles do connect with a lot of the Stalkers there, though. Very good connections. Is the Zerg army going to hold strong, though? More and more Lings are rallying forward, but the Stalkers could be winning out here. Ravager is starting to get picked off, and the numbers The numbers are looking pretty good for the Protoss. More Stalkers coming on in is going to help out. It's actually such a risky push here for Zoun going all in versus the Zerg. Drones have been pulled to help out, but was it a little too late? The Zerg has let off a lot of supply. More roaches coming on out to help out, though. However, we take a look. RagnaroK, he lost 10 drones. He just needs to keep making as many units as he can. He's even making a couple of Banelings. He's focused on a counterattack right now, but Zoun's own attack is not over just yet. We see the Protoss. He's going to continuously come on in. A Ravager gets picked off. The Protoss blinks on out of there. Zoun he's mad. He's just going mass blink stalkers here versus the Zerg, but the Zerg, his production hasn't really been keeping up, so these stalkers gonna be picking off the roaches. There's a very significant number of stalkers. Crocodiles, I mean, they're getting shot out, but Zoun's doing a pretty good job dodging the shots. He's now able to pick off the Queen. The Zerg is making as much as he can, but he's even losing a few drones now. His hatchery's under fire. RagnaroK needs to stop this, but Zoun seems to be in a pretty good spot right now. He's dodging more of the Crocodiles. The Stalker's in a very good concave right now, and there's just not enough Zerg. Is Zoun going to be able to break the Zerg player here just with mass Blink Stalkers? His Blink Micro has been pretty good, even bringing in a couple of Zealots to buffer for the Stalkers. The Stalkers, oh, they do eat a few Crocodiles, but the Zerg has really worn thin right now. Meanwhile, counterattack has actually killed off 8 probes on Zoun's base, so he's really committed here, but the Zerg is wearing thin. This has just been one of the longest blink pushes ever, but Zoun actually able to get the 3rd base of the Zerg, and that is a very nice blow, cutting in the production of RagnaroK. Now RagnaroK, fortunately, he did get up a 4th base, so it's not like he's out of this just yet, but Zoun seems to be doing a pretty good job, and the scary thing is he's not done yet. This Protoss just says go, 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 coming in with his Blink Stalkers again, microing them back, dodging Crocodiles, does a pretty good job of that. The Roaches are still in forward, but they're eating shots every time they do that. The Stalkers are pulling back. Zoun's got to keep microing as well as he can. The Zerg is going off creep, which isn't good for the Zerg. RagnaroK knows that he needs to break this, though. He's even brought his Queens to help out, but with RagnaroK going off creep, he could start to wear thin right now. Zoun is microing non-stop. His Blink Stalker micro is insane here. He's warping in another Zealot, another Stalker. He's coming forward with everything he can. The Zerg has to retreat, so the Queens are forfeit. It looks like there might just be too much Protoss, but I feel like I've said that once or twice. This game just keeps going on and on. I don't know if Zoun's going to be able to break RagnaroK just yet. There is +2 on the Lings, but there's really no Lings here to have benefit from that. The Protoss blinks forward once again, but Stalkers are falling here. Zealots buffering as long as they can. Couple of sentries coming in though. Force fields go down, walling off these roaches, but RagnaroK has been just making more and more roaches. Adepts though are doing a good job buffering for the Stalkers. Oh my god, this is non-stop here. Let's take a look. The Stalkers blink forward. The drones are pulled here for RagnaroK. I think the roaches are starting to wear thin, but the drones doing a good job buffering. Corrosive Biles actually hit like 6 of RagnaroK's own drones there, hurting himself. He's producing 10 roaches, which is no small amount, but he just hasn't been able to get up a solid number, and Zoun has been skirmishing non-stop, putting the Zerg in a world of trouble. And now we take a look. All of a sudden, the Protoss is looking to move on in. He's able to one-shot down these roaches as they pop out. And I don't know if RagnaroK has enough to hold on. He's broke. He's taken a lot of economy damage. He's about to lose his 4th base. And once that 4th base is gone, I think his hopes in this game are as well. I'm not sure about that, though. Can he hold on? A Queen moves forward. She injects that hatch, but that's no good. The hatch gets picked off. Zoun just warping in more and more Stalkers. This guy is not transitioning. He's just going, going, going. And we take a look. RagnaroK, he now bounces back towards his 3rd base, which he just reestablished. The Protoss now decides to start +1 in the midst of this, but the attack is still going on at the front. RagnaroK has been able to get up a bit more muscle here, a bit more mass, but Zoun's still skirmishing non-stop. More Stalkers being warped on in, and he's got no small count here. We're currently looking at, let's take a look, 23 Stalkers versus just 5 Roaches, 6 Ravagers, and I think that numbers game is gonna go the way of the Protoss. He's now up on overall supplies. Zoun pushing on in. Oh, this is actually just insane. The non-stop battle here. This has been one of the longest StarCraft 2 battles I think I've seen. Zoun has just gone and gone again. Drones are pulled off the lines once more. The Protoss blinks forward though, but in the end I think Zoun is gonna do it. Yes, the offensive blink. He starts picking off Ravagers. And he actually takes it. Zoun with the massive blink all in. That was like a 5-10 minute blink all in. I don't know, that was ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say it. Make sure to press that like button if you enjoyed that crazy non-stop blink action. And of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. But that was just match number 1 in this best of 3. So we're going to get on into the next match here and see if Zoun's able to take down his opponent again, or whether RagnaroK will bring it back. RagnaroK, I think, is the on-paper favorite here. So I just don't think he expected that many Blink Stalkers. And honestly, talking really precisely about the game there for a second, imagine if RagnaroK had +2 missile attacks instead of +2 attack for his Lings there. Because we take a look at it, and RagnaroK, he just made roaches there pretty much. He made Lings once or twice for counterattacks, but it really was just all the defense. So imagine if he had, say, just even +1 missile attack. That was a close battle. That could have been enough to turn the tide in that fight, maybe. So, I mean, of course, it's tough to say because RagnaroK was planning on going Lings, but then he was forced into a ton of roaches, so... But it's tough to say, but really goes to show how one upgrade really could have made the difference there, I feel. And what a crazy PvZ. I don't know how these two are going to be able to top that. That was just madness. Like, that was insane. Just Zoun really showing his skill with his unit control and ability just to go for a push and keep it going. Now, we'll see if he's going to go for something like that again. Keep in mind, Zoun's initial push didn't work out too well. RagnaroK defended it, but then RagnaroK decided to counterattack, and Zoun defended that pretty darn well. So that's really where I think that ability to go for a big push like that came from. Oh boy, what a PvZ. What a PvZ. I didn't expect my voice just to take a beating like that. That was just insane. Yeah, make sure to leave a like on this video. That was some I think that's the most commentary I've ever commentated in a game like that. Just non-stop Blink Stalker versus Roach. Like, sometimes we'll have games like that, but that was almost like never ending, it seemed like. Zoun just kept going. Some players would have transitioned, but he was just like, no, I will win with this push. And he was able to do it. Probe for Zoun scouting out RagnaroK, just wants to make sure there's nothing too scary out there. And then we'll just wait and see how this next battle's, or this next match is gonna go. Probe for Zoun is gonna have to head away as the Lings of RagnaroK are gonna show him to the door. I mean, this Probe, he's playing with fire a little bit. Oh, he's juking out the Lings. Queen's there though. She's gonna shoot the Probe. It's gonna cut into his HP, but yeah, the Probe is gonna be safe because the Adept is crossing the map here. Zoun going for a pretty standard Protoss opening. He's going for the Stalker once again to shut down the Overlord. And after you've just gone for such an insane push versus your opponent, I think RagnaroK's in the back of his mind is going to be like, what if he just makes a ton of Blink Stalkers again? And because of that, I think Zoun, he's got himself a pretty good spot in the mind games. But take a look at this build. He's actually gone for a Robo first this time, going into a Prism right out the gate. So gonna be looking to put a bit of light pressure onto his opponent for starters. This isn't gonna be like an all-in or anything, I don't believe, unless he throws up like a few more gateways. But yeah, definitely an early push. I'm willing to bet he's gonna try and just elevate the 2 Adepts around or something like that. And most likely we'll be seeing that, and maybe this Prism's going to be used to pick off this Overlord. Overlords think they're safe on the high ground, but once there's a Prism out, that is not the case. Stalker and the Prism going to be able to get this Overlord. Might have to ferry it. Nope, he does get it. Nicely done there from Zoun. And oh, he's actually moving out with his Stalkers here. He's not going with the 2 Adepts, so just going to have like 3 Stalkers in the Prism. And then he's going to be looking to push into his opponent. Now, this is an interesting play here from the Protoss. We'll see exactly how Zoun's going to play this. Prism now moving across the map. Lair is about done for RagnaroK. He's got a Roach War, and he's going to fire up some Lings to defend versus this. Now, we'll see what Zoun's able to get done with this micro. I mean, in theory, with a Prism, you should never lose any of these units, but, oh, Zoun. Oh, I totally jinxed him there. I'm sorry, guy. But, yeah, as I said, with a Prism, you should never lose a unit as long as you're microing correctly. He basically just donated his Stalker to RagnaroK, and that's quite painful. Now, we take a look here. Zoun, he's going to be moving across the map with his 2 Adepts. 2 Adepts can always get damage done in a game of Starcraft 2. And, like, the damage that they get done is definitely nothing small. Zoun, though, he is looking to move across the map with his Prism, with his Observer. Probe's now mining out this wall, so Zoun's going to be looking to take himself a 3rd base. You know, he's just got Stalkers in his Prism. He had those 2 Adepts. Where did they end up? Okay, the 2 Adepts went home. 3rd base on the way for the Zerg, or for the Protoss, pardon me. 3rd base for the Zerg is already done. Zoun just being a pain here. He's gonna use his Prism. Maybe he can nab himself up a Creep Tumor or something. But for now, though, he's just heading on back. A Baneling Nest is on the way for RagnaroK, but so far, Zoun's light pressure really didn't get a lot done. He forced out a few units, but nothing major. And with RagnaroK scouting out with his Overseer, he's like, oh yeah, I see what's coming your way. It's going to be a standard Protoss follow-up, so he knows how much time he's got to drone and everything. Double Hallucinated Phoenix moving out for Zoun, probably just wanting to confirm if it's something like an Infestation Pit already out of RagnaroK. We'll see what these Phoenix are able to spot. The Double Phoenix seems to be a bit of a common thing lately from Protoss, just really ensures you get that scout off. And then we take a look, he flies on over, he sees a Baneling Nest, he sees +1, or he sees an Evo Chamber. Can't tell that it's +1. But still, that's a pretty good tell for the Protoss, because it really says that the Zerg isn't planning on teching, he's planning on going probably for a bit of aggression, and RagnaroK is one of those aggressive players, so there's no doubt about that. Now we've got this Dropper Lord, which just had Pneumatized Carapace finish up. So he's actually going to be picking up these Banelings, and he's going to be going for some Baneling drops against Zoun. And now we'll see if Zoun's going to react to this in time or not. Zoun is focused on what looks like he's going to be going for a push with a lot of Immortals and Sentries, but this Baneling drop is just going to sneak on into the back here. We'll see how many probes it's able to kill. This could be massive game-ending damage here going down from RagnaroK if Zoun just loses a ton of probes. Zoun does react, though. Very nicely done. His probes are going to run to the safety of these Stalkers. Oh, the probes are going back, though. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, that was a little bit risky there. Baneling's going to unload onto the Stalkers, going to try and chase down the probes. Not going to get anything, though, so that's actually very good. Now, we do see Zoun on the front lines. He's tossing down force fields. He actually does a pretty good job, but the Crows of Baals re-lock those out. RagnaroK has a ton of Banelings as Zoun is looking to go for a push. The Immortals, one of them dies there. However, most of the Banelings are now gone for RagnaroK. Zoun warping in more Stalkers. That push happened a little bit quick there. Baneling speed is done now for RagnaroK, though, so these Banes are going to roll forward, and Banes do pretty well versus Stalkers. The Immortals are kind of getting focused down here. The Prism, oh, it almost needs a few Curse Files, but it stays alive. We'll see if this push is going to work out, but it seems like it won't this time. A few reinforcing Stalkers come forward for Zoun, though. Can he keep this push going? It looks like, once again, he's just going to try the whole Stalker, the mass Stalker thing versus the Zerg. We'll see if he's able to push on in like he did in the last game. We could actually be having a repeat. Now, this game, it's a little bit different. RagnaroK has the +1 melee. He's got a bit more of a standing army. This time, Zoun has +1 attack, though, so his Stalkers are actually going to be better. He's just got to micro them correctly. He loses one Stalker there, pulling back, loses another. Baneling's rolling forward. He's trying to focus down the Banelings, but they are getting connections there. And, oh, the Prism, it's going to go down from the seam of things. Zealots have been warped into buffer. The Immortal, though, in the wrong spot, actually gets picked off, so it's not going to be adding its damage to the equation. And with the Zealot buffer dying, Zoun's attack, I think, has pretty much failed there. That one was a little bit different. RagnaroK just didn't give Zoun the time to poke and prod him a little bit. He just pulled the trigger on it and forced the Protoss back. Now we see the Protoss is just looking to transition, but the economy for the Zerg is pretty darn good at this point, and that is scary, scary for the Protoss. Zoun blinks forward. Oh my gosh, that was actually such a risky blink. I think it is going to cost him a few Stalkers here. He gets the Overseer, but oh yeah, that is a lot of dead Stalkers there for Zoun, just for an Overlord, just for an Overseer. And now we take a look. The Protoss player, he's going to be on the retreat, but RagnaroK, oh man, he's just going to be looking for a kill. Zoun definitely knows this is coming his way. We need to see some warpings from the Protoss. He's going to try and use his Stalkers. Zoun, I haven't cast him before, but he's starting to look like a Protoss who really likes his Stalkers, which is a Protoss I can respect, but I don't know how good Stalkers are here in order to take down this much Zerg. Zoun's going to have to micro like a god. He's warped in a few more Stalkers. He's got a shield battery. He's fighting on the bottom. He's trying to defend in his main. Banelings are rolling forward. They're not getting the most efficient trades, though, but a lot of the Stalkers for Zoun have died. There is just so much Zerg here. There are Zealots, but they do not have charge to help out. They're still buffering, though. Zoun is desperately trying to hold on. He's got an Immortal, which is pulling back. Probes are being pulled into the mix here, but oh, there's Corrosive Biles going down, and Corrosive Biles and Probes, never a good mix. And there we go, RagnaroK, able to take match number 2 and ties up the series. So we're going to get on into match number 3 here between these two. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have been enjoying this series, make sure to press that like button. It shows me that you enjoy these kind of commentaries of showing like new faces like Zoun, of just casting as much of the Alima League as I possibly can. So yeah, press that like button. Let's try and hit 20 likes on this video. And here we are, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map. It is Zoun, the Protoss player. And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it is Shivo's RagnaroK. Shivo? I think it's pronounced Shivo. And yeah, let's see how well this is going to work on out here. I mean, for Zoun, like, does he just go for the Blink Stalkers again? It seems like that's really what he focuses on. Like, Starcraft 2 players, pretty much from Bronze to GM, really have a preferred style. Even if you're good with multiple styles, there's probably one way you like to play. And it seems that Zoun's way to play is actually just a lot of Blink Stalkers and pushing. And so far, we take a look. Zoun's scouting out again, so he likes to know what his opponent is up to. And then we'll see where this game's going to go from there. Really am enjoying casting this PvZ. I've been cast a PvZ the other day, which you guys should also check out. Gumiho or Dongregu versus Bud Always, pardon me. You might be like, who's Bud Always? He's a Taiwanese, pardon me, Protoss player. And he plays at a very, very high gameplay level. And he's really one of the up-and-coming foreigners in the scene, and then Dongregu is just Dongregu, an old pro gamer who's still kind of active. So that was actually a really fun match to cast in the Africa world, so make sure to check those out. And enough of that self-plug-in here. We take a look. 3 hatcheries on the way, or 2 hatcheries on the way for RagnaroK. 3 hatcheries soon to be. Meanwhile, the Protoss player, he's just getting up his Cybercore. Crank in chat, who's always casted the Alima League. We see the character TTTT D.D. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly can't read Korean, so I'm a little bit in the dark of this. This is what you get when you cast a Korean tournament. Sometimes you're just like, huh, wonder what they're talking about. You know, I'm just gonna choose to believe that they're saying, hey, you guys heard of that LaughNgamez caster? Yeah, his videos are pretty good. You should press like. These guys having some good level banter as this game goes on, though. We can at least tell the emotes. RagnaroK happy face, Zoun sad face, RagnaroK good. That's how you know when you've really made it as a StarCraft 2 player. When you're an actual god and you can hold a full conversation and not mess up your macro. Resonating Glaive build once again coming out of Zoun, so similar to the last match. Now, we'll see. RagnaroK has identified this, and you can tell that Twilight Council is researching just by looking at it. You see that it's like, that it's getting them lines running up it. You're like, oh, that Twilight Council's up to something. Double Queen on the way here for RagnaroK. And yeah, just normal Zerg stuff. The Adept gets on home for Zoun. And we'll see if he's going to be able to make this push work once again. He's throwing up a few more gateways. Seems like he just likes doing this off the back of 4 gates. So he doesn't go for like a mass adept timing, he goes for an adept pressure. Then he expands, and then if we're going off the base of that game number 1, then he goes for a big old blink attack. And we'll see if he's gonna do that again. I don't know. Like, this is actually the first I've really seen of this style myself. So I'm actually really enjoying seeing what's coming out of the Protoss player. Prism. Of course, gonna be picking up those adepts most likely. There does need to be something in the wall, though, versus RagnaroK. You gotta make sure that you don't just get counterattacked. There we go, Stalker coming in. He's like, fine, I'll be the wall guy. I'll stand sentry. And now we take a look. 4 adepts crossing the map here for Zoun. They're going to have resonating glaives. How well is RagnaroK going to deal with this? Of course, adepts, their power doesn't necessarily come just from their frontal attack ability. Their power comes from their harassment ability. So these adepts are going to be moving on in. The shade is actually going to be canceled by Zoun, but of course this means the adepts can't shade again for a second, so RagnaroK going to be trying to get us around here. These adepts, some of them in a pretty good spot, but a lot of surface area on some of those guys, so a lot of these adepts are going to go down. Some of them do manage to shade on in towards the natural base of RagnaroK. He's going to get himself a few drones, 4 drones, 5 drones. That's it though, 5 drones, 8 adepts, but oh, look at this. More adepts coming on in towards the 4th. Zoun cancels that shade. He's actually going to get a Grave Tumor because he's got an Observer just hanging out on that high ground. And then he's going to get out with his Prism. So he gets a few drones. He's now going into Blink behind this. He warps in a ton of sentries. He gets an Immortal. He gets +1, but keep in mind this is still a 2-base Protoss past the point which Protoss usually wants to expand. So Zoun has committed to this attack. The worker count's pretty darn even for now though. But he's still just got to do a good job keeping pressure onto his opponent. Meanwhile, RagnaroK just trying to get up a layer. He's more or less held this attack, but of course, adepts are always lethal here. And maybe he should be preparing for the next attack that's going to be coming his way, because I'm willing to bet Zoun's going to be going for it once more. Blink on the way. He's going to be getting out an Immortal. He's got his Prism still just sharking about it. It's very important he keeps that alive, and he's going to be flying, oh, almost over the Queens. That made me a little bit jumpy there. We take a look, a 3rd base on the way for Zoun. He's getting up a shield battery just to make sure that can be secured. And now he's throwing up 3 more gateways. So yeah, he's going to be doing it. Zoun has 1 gear, and that is Giver. So Zoun, he's going to be looking to just push on into his opponent once again. Wait, is he going up? Okay, yeah, he's going up to 8 gateways here. And then he's gonna be going up against a Zerg who's making roaches, but also it's going for a Spire. Now, if RagnaroK invests too much into this Spire tech, he could just die to a push, but then we kind of hit the weird base trade stage. I want to say potential base trades usually go the way of the Zerg once mutas are out, but if the Protoss really is in the Zerg's face, the Zerg just won't have time to capitalize on that. And now we take a look here. RagnaroK, he's going to be going for a counterattack, but as long as there's like a couple of adepts and a shield battery, and there we go, speak of the devil, 1 adept warping on in. 1 adept with a shield battery can kill about infinity Lings, I want to say. Alright, the Lings doing their best. But yeah, this adept is just going to have so much blood on its hands. It is just massacring all these Lings. And now we see another big warping of Stalkers coming out of the Protoss player. He is going to be looking to push on into RagnaroK. RagnaroK has invested into 4 Mutalisks. Just a perfect number, really, to counterattack versus a naked Protoss base. However, if you're getting caught a little bit, oh, RagnaroK's actually losing a lot of Lings there. Now, he's going to be continuously trying to make these counterattacks happen, but Zoun warps in a few adepts to defend at his 3rd base. We take a look. The Protoss is now crossing the map. He's got this Observer. He's warping in more Blink Stalkers. He has a ton of sentries, so it's going to be Blink Stalker Sentry with a few Immortals in the mix. 3 Immortals precisely. They've also got +1, where there is no attack upgrade for the Zerg, so there is a good amount of upgrades here for the Protoss player. He's going to really have the better army we've seen, but all the surround from RagnaroK could be gold here. The Lings are getting good surface area on the army. Force fields are going down from Zoun. Protoss find a few connections. Immortals eating a few Protoss. Zoun wants to save those. Good pickups on the Immortals. Those are so pivotal there, keeping them alive as they're going to begin regenerating HP just between skirmishes. Though we take a look, Muta's going for the counterattack. They're going to get 5 probes, but Zoun warps in Stalkers back in home to defend. The main fight going on at the front though. Corrosive Biles covering RagnaroK's defense. He's got 3 queens. Zoun, though, is going to be looking to push on in. He's checking for a 4th base. He sees there's no 4th, so he's like, right, I just got to try and kill this guy. Meanwhile, there's these stalkers back at home just defending versus the mutas, doing a good job. Zoun not being pulled apart. The shield battery really helping out, and he is just pushing on into the Zerg. The queens are actually getting picked off. That's kind of hurtful for RagnaroK. Force fields going down as sentries are still alive, and the Zerg isn't at the best angle, but oh, the surround from RagnaroK. He corrosive vials down the prism. Zoun's trying to hold on. RagnaroK realizing how serious this is, pulling the drones to buffer for the roaches and ravagers. The ravagers from behind actually get blinked on. Suddenly they're exposed there, and they're pretty much all getting picked off. This is actually such a close hold. More Lings coming out for the Zerg, though, trying to get on top of those immortals. Lings are very good at buffering versus this composition, but it looks like RagnaroK could be wearing thin supply in the army. Pretty darn close, but Zoun in the lead here. He's now looking to push on in. The 3rd base of RagnaroK is going to be getting picked off, and a Zerg with 2 bases versus a 3-base Protoss is pretty darn dead, dare I say. So RagnaroK, he's in a very tough spot now, and I think with Zoun being able to get that base, I think he may have just done it. His +1 really allowing his army just to take good trades here, just to pick off units. Very, very well done by Zoun here. Although it's not over yet, RagnaroK's building up a big army. There's always a chance the Protoss overcommits, but not too likely with Blink Stalkers, which are very, very good at retreating. So we take a look here. It's just a whack load of Blink Stalkers. 23 out for Zoun. He's got a big old bank. He made another prism so he can spend that. Just going to be more and more Blink Stalkers. I am loving the way that this Protoss player plays. And now he's going to be coming on in towards RagnaroK. He's actually just going to blink on top. Now that's a little bit risky. Corrosive Volley going down all over. But yeah, there is enough Protoss here, I feel. And with that, Zoun is going to 2-1 RagnaroK. GG gets called, and his fantastic Blink Stalker play allows him to win the series. Wow, what a series between these two. High action, really exciting pushes from the Protoss. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this commentary, make sure to press that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you stayed to the very end of this commentary, press that subscribe button as I put out a fair few of these casts. Of course, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. This has been LaughNgamez.